You know, the funniest thing about this story is Trump's all over the Epstein files, and I wonder if they're going to release that after the big bombshell. I didn't see anything about that on Fox News today. Okay, so let's release them. Let's release those files. Is this what passes for news? Is this what passes for news on Fox News? That I did a joke picture?
State-run MAGA media, better known as Fox News, is spiraling straight into the floor this morning, practically collapsing on live TV after Trump's catastrophic interview with Laura Ingraham. And you already know Fox tried to hide it, bury it, twist it, repaint it with glitter. But there is simply no saving what Trump said. The man went on live television and claimed we need 600,000 Chinese students over American students, then doubled down, saying Americans can't do factory jobs and aren't smart enough for high-skilled work. And Fox? They panicked. They immediately launched into full-scale damage control.
So when you hear people dumping on this administration from the right, remember, Democrats believe you should get zero benefits from your American citizenship. Zero. Meanwhile, as we sit in our warm studios, and that's where I am, the president's trying to reindustrialize only the entire United States of America. That's all. And if you think Mamdani or the squad, oh, they're going to stand up for you in their workers' garb and they're going to, in their shirt sleeves, get it all done. Maybe some of these mouthy new socialist primary candidates, they're going to get it done for you. Well, you haven't been listening to them. If you're a native-born American who grew up in something approaching a traditional household, they pity you at best and they loathe you at worst. So, there's always going to be disagreements on strategy and approach, and everybody should have their say. But to the more than 77 million Americans who voted for President Trump, don't flinch. No one's better at politics than he is, and in the end, he's a pragmatist and a populist. He's not a globalist, and he's not a sellout. And that's the angle.
So Laura Ingraham came out swinging with the most desperate spin you've ever seen. She looked straight into the camera and told her audience that Trump is a pragmatist, a populist, not a globalist, and that anybody criticizing him just doesn't understand how brilliant his strategy is. She tried to paint the interview as some kind of genius master plan, as if Trump insulting American workers and begging for foreign students is supposed to be patriotic. Fox honestly thinks their viewers are that gullible. Then she dragged Dr. Oz onto the show. Don't ask me why this man is still allowed anywhere near government, and he tried introducing a new slogan, MAHA, Make America Healthy Again, pointing to some Oval Office photo op about weight loss drugs. Meanwhile, Trump literally fell asleep during that press event. This is the propaganda Fox is pushing, pretending a 20-minute nap is a sign of strength.
And a concrete example of MAHA in action to me was what happened Thursday in the Oval Office, when the president presided over an effort that will allow all Americans to access these weight loss drugs at a price that is about a fifth, 20% of what the list price is today, a price that is equal to what they sell these drugs for in Europe. And Laura, this is the big story. It's not like obesity is a shortage of GLP-1 drugs in your bloodstream. We know that you need to exercise and eat better and sleep and do all the things that are important to live a full, fit life. But if you're having trouble losing weight, you get sick. You get hypertension and diabetes and kidney failure and heart attacks and strokes. So if we get you on these medications, we actually save money for the American people. That's MAHA to me, using every tool we have to make America healthier so we don't have to pay downstream prices that are inappropriate.
And next came Brooke Rollins, Fox's go-to everything is amazing spokesperson, who looked the camera dead in the eye and swore up and down that costs are coming down, everything's cheaper, and the economy is booming. And Fox nodded along like bobbleheads. Meanwhile, every American watching knows their grocery bills are higher, rent is higher, utilities are higher, and nothing she said matched reality. But facts don't matter on state media. Only the script matters.
Yeah, it's staggering and so discouraging. You know, if you're a taxpayer and you're working hard every day and you're paying your taxes, and then you look and you see these stories of this fraud, of people charging more than once. We found one guy in 6 states who was collecting in 6 different states under the same number. But again, if we hadn't asked for this data, and by the way, Laura, these are the red states that turn their data over. It is the blue states we're still trying to get data on. Can you imagine if this fraud is happening in the red states, what's happening in the blue states?
What are they hiding? What are they hiding?
Again, I think they're buying their votes. They're trying to push as much of our taxpayer dollars into certain segments of the society in order to say, hey, we're here to help you. We're going to give you a lot of free stuff.
Dependency.
So vote for us. And it's dependency. Under President Trump, more jobs, better jobs. The economy is growing. We've got better take-home pay for the first time in at least 4 years, maybe more. Costs are coming down. And now it's time to get serious about these government programs, move people from welfare to work, and fundamentally change the trajectory of this country.
And illegal aliens should not be getting food stamps paid for by the American taxpayers. So I know that's
100%.
something you guys are working on as well.
List. That's
fantastic.
Right. And it's already illegal, but now we got to make sure that that's being implemented.
But the real highlight of the night, Stephanie Miller walking into the belly of the beast, Hannity's show, and setting it on fire. She used her appearance to say the one thing Fox will never dare mention. Trump's name is all over the Epstein files. She said it clearly, calmly, and with a smile, while Hannity physically shifted in his seat like someone unplugged his spine. He tried deflecting, he tried fast-talking, he tried spinning, but nothing worked. And she wasn't done. Hannity asked her a loaded question about Biden's cognitive decline, hoping to tee up a cheap attack, and she flipped it right back on Trump, pointing out his public naps and incoherent rambling about magnets getting wet. Hannity tried to pivot, and she hit him again with, "Are you covering the Epstein files tonight?" He had no answer.
Because you're anything but. All right, so I do have a question. I tried to get an answer out of you on radio. Okay, the question is, when did you notice Joe Biden's cognitive decline? And don't change the subject and deflect. When did you really notice it?
Well, I think it was through all of the times that Donald Trump has fallen asleep in public and talked about, magnets getting wet in the last few,
oh my gosh.
My mom had dementia, so I recognize it.
Stephanie, this is not, it's a very good deflection. You're a professional.
You know what else is great about Biden's decline is that Trump is all over the Epstein files, and I'm wondering if they're going to release those. Are you covering that tonight?
Not really, because the woman that apparently they're talking about is the one that said he was a gentleman and never did anything wrong. And the person that had a grudge was the guy that got thrown out of Mar-a-Lago 25 years ago. And by the way, when you get thrown out of a club in Palm Beach, Florida, that's kind of a big deal. And it's very humiliating and embarrassing. And he was a convicted pedophile. So I'm not exactly putting a lot of gospel truth in what he said.
Trump was mad that he was stealing his girls, but
And then right here comes our brother, MAGA Mike Johnson, operating on a whole different planet, trying to convince us we didn't hear what we literally heard with our own ears. I don't know who he thinks he's fooling, but if they keep crashing this hard over the Epstein files, all they're really doing is pushing the entire country to dig deeper and deeper into the truth they're terrified of.
But he's not saying that what Epstein did is a hoax. It's a terrible, unspeakable evil. He believes that himself. When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down. The president knows and has great sympathy for the women who have suffered these unspeakable harms. It's detestable to him. He and I have spoken about this as recently as 24 hours ago.
While Fox was melting down, MAGA officials were desperately trying to clean up behind them. Kash Patel, who used to run a right-wing podcast literally called Release the Epstein Files before Trump made him FBI director, stared into the camera repeating, "President Trump is a brilliant negotiator," as if saying it enough times would make it true.
You've seen most of the files. Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself?
Himself. There is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And the information we have, again, is limited.
So the answer is no one?
For the information that we have.
In the files?
In the case file.
Okay.
And then Stephen Miller popped up to scream about trillions of dollars Trump brought into America, pretending the collapsing economy isn't happening on Trump's watch. Everything he said was fantasy. Nothing he said matched reality. But again, on Fox, reality doesn't matter.
Think about the contrast, Sean. President Trump bringing trillions of investment into America, giving Americans trillions of dollars in tax cuts. And what did Democrats do in their big moment? They steal hardworking money from our taxpayers, they cancel their flights, and they destroy billions of dollars in economic value. You will not see a clear contrast. The Democrats are the party of destruction. President Trump is leading the party of creation, opportunity, and wealth.
And finally, the grand finale. J.D. Vance and RFK Jr. pretending to be best friends on Fox's worst show. J.D. Vance, a man who has reinvented himself more times than a TikTok filter, tried making a joke about Trump asking a foreign leader how many wives he has. It wasn't funny. It wasn't clever. It was awkward and painfully forced. Then RFK jumped in praising Trump for bulldozing the Overton window, openly celebrating Trump destroying every norm and institution in his path.
Lower the cost of prescription drugs for American citizens. Now, it would be great if we could get congressional Democrats to actually do something meaningful with us. Because you would think, you think of Democrats, they like to say that they're for the working people against the big pharma companies. So you would think that legislatively they would want to work with us, but it's actually been hard to get them to work with us. So we've had to sort of go outside of the system and work with private industry to do some of this stuff. And I think you guys have done an incredible job with that.
And that right there is Fox News in 2025. A collapsing propaganda machine trying to spin Trump's failures into victories, trying to bury the Epstein files, trying to distract viewers with slogans and nostalgia, and failing miserably in front of millions.